Howdy, everyone. I've played about 20 new releases in the past year, so of course I gotta make a list of some of the best games of the year. 2022 was the most year I have ever experienced, and now is the best time to look back for a bit. I did not have the time to play every single game that I wanted to due to, well, life. So I want to give these titles a quick mention. As Dusk Falls, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, The Callisto Protocol, High on Life, Live Alive, Metal Hellsinger, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Neon White, Rollerdrome, Signalis, Sonic Frontiers, Tinykin, Tunic, Triangle Strategy, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and of course, Cobra Kai 2, Dojo's Rising.
Whoa, nice graphics! I'd like to get my hands on that game.
It also does need to be stated that I did not beat every game on this list. I finished 8 of them. For one of the games on this list, I am about at the tail end of the story, and I barely scratched the surface on one of these other games, but I've played enough to know that it definitely belongs on this list. And I think that game is pretty damn obvious. So starting off this list is an honorable mention. Omori. Though this game released in 2020, it dropped on consoles this year, so I'm talking about it. This is a quirky yet dark RPG that pulled me in from start to finish, and it is a title that more people need to try out. It is set in a dream world called the White Space. You play as Omori, of course. He's a silent protagonist on a quest to save his friend in this land called the White Space. Oh, and you get to fight dial-up internet, the mortal enemy of anyone who grew up in the 90s. The art style is also a major plus. It's no secret that this is one of those games that looks bright and colorful, but turns out to be very dark the more you play. But Omori gives off this dreamlike feeling that not many other titles can pull off. So if you're a fan of RPGs and you want to experience something fresh and exciting, give Omori a try. So on to number 10. Although this franchise has mostly become this corporate hollow shell, this game still managed to surprise me. Number 10, LEGO Star Wars, The Skywalker Saga. This game lets you play through all 6 Star Wars movies in LEGO form. Oh, and those 3 pieces of fanfiction are in there as well. The game is full of jokes and fan service that will have you looking like Leonardo DiCaprio in that Tarantino movie. There are so many characters and vehicles to unlock. You'll get to play as some of the best Star Wars characters. Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Han Solo, Poe Dameron. I'm gonna be real, Oscar Isaac, he carried the sequel trilogy. This game is packed with content and fan service that is just waiting to be discovered. And you get to explore many of the iconic Star Wars locations, such as Tatooine, Mustafar, and even the boring trade dispute meetings. There's always something new to find in a galaxy far, far away. With how surprisingly well this game turned out, I cannot wait to see the future of the LEGO franchise. Adapt the boys next. I want to see Herogasm in LEGO form. At number 9, a game that I actually liked more than most people, Ghostwire Tokyo. This is a game that can best be described as Japanese BioShock. Okay, fine, the story and characters in this game are pretty generic. The open world is unnecessary. I would have rather had this be a linear first-person adventure, but the design of this paranormal demon-filled Tokyo is so pretty to look at, and the combat gets really damn fun as I unlock more and more abilities. Oh, and you can pet the dogs! As a whole, I think Ghostwire Tokyo is a pretty solid 20-hour adventure that you can actually pick up for pretty cheap. And if you have an Xbox, it's supposed to end up on Game Pass this year. So I recommend giving this game at least an hour of your time. I truly do hope that Ghostwire does go on to become a franchise, or at the very least garners a cult following a decade from now. And number 8 is a title starring the ruler of the internet. Number 8, Stray. The cute cat game turned out to be one of 2022's best. With the help of your trusty robot companion, B12, you'll solve puzzles, evade enemies, and uncover the secrets of the city. The true beauty of Stray lies in its immersive world building. The game is set in this stunningly detailed world filled with danger, mystery, and paint cans that I can knock over. From the sewers to the red light districts, it's fun to just roam around these semi-open areas. Despite its dystopian setting, Stray is such a comfort game that has moments of pure serotonin. Scratching the floor with the DualSense's adaptive triggers is just so addicting. At number 7, a title revolving around a genre and a franchise that I can't get into, yet it manages to keep me playing. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. This game surprised the hell out of me. I'm not into beat-em-ups. I never grew up with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. In this game, you'll play as one of the beloved Turtles, or Splinter, or April O'Neil, or Casey Jones, as you take on the fearsome Shredder and the Foot Clan. Each beautifully designed level will bring players back to the 80s. The music and the animations on each character brings a unique personality to this game. Shredder's Revenge's combat is fast-paced and constantly has me glued to the screen. The developers at Dotemu, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, went out of their way to craft a TMNT game that everyone, especially the fans, can enjoy. At number 6, a game that really tested my attention span. Pentiment is a point-and-click journey set in the small town of Tassing. In this game, you play as an artist named Andreas Mahler on a quest spanning many years to uncover the secrets behind a murder within the town's abbey. From sharing meals with interesting characters you'll meet along the way, to the various investigations that Andreas makes, there are so many moments in Pentiment that are filled with unexpected twists and turns. This title is headed by the lead designer of Fallout New Vegas, Josh Sawyer, and as a result, it contains an amazingly crafted story with effective dialogue options. Each scene looks like a 16th century painting, and despite having no voice acting, the voices of these characters can be told through something as simple as the text on their dialogue bubbles. And there is also an opportunity to learn about the time period by having the ability to put the game on pause and having definitions of certain terms or quick summaries of various characters and historical figures pop up. Personally, growing up Catholic and going through a Catholic school for the first 18-ish years of my life, there were many moments in this game where I was like, oh, I got that reference. Like having to say this prayer before every meal back in elementary school. 2022 is the year I really started using TikTok. It anal fisted my attention span, so 2022 also became the year I deleted TikTok. Pentiment is the exact opposite of the demonic clock app. It is extremely slow moving. At times I needed a cup of coffee before turning on my Xbox to play the game, but I do not regret my experience with it so far. Trust me, the slow pacing of this game becomes very rewarding because Pentiment really started to pull me in the more I played. Plus, I was really able to resonate with Andreas at some points due to the way that this unique as hell character thinks and acts. But I gotta keep it real. I'm only about 15 hours into the game, though it feels like I am approaching the tail end of the story, and I cannot wait to play more. Though up next is the ultimate religious experience: Cult of the Lamb. Now, this is a title that grew on me as time went on. Hades got me into roguelikes. Cult of the Lamb reinvigorated my appreciation of the genre. You take on the role of a lamb who is about to be sacrificed, but then he gets recruited by a demon to build up a cult, hence the title. I fight my way through procedurally generated dungeons to provide for my cult. The combat is extremely simplistic, but when paired together with the cult simulation aspect, this simple Devolver digital hit turns into a ton of addicting fun. The chill soundtrack, along with the Cartoon Network-like animation, makes this a huge comfort game, similar to Stray. Up next is one of my most anticipated sequels of the year that definitely lived up to the hype. Number 4, A Plague Tale Requiem. We got a cat, we got a lamb, and we got rats. 2022 is a furry's wet dream. The first game, A Plague Tale Innocence, was amazing, and the sequel did not disappoint. This dark and heartbreaking title from Asobo Studio is set in the midst of a devastating rat pandemic that swept Europe during the 14th century. You'll play as Amicia, a girl on a dangerous journey to protect her younger brother Hugo and take him to an island to find a way to cure his disease. With the help of Amicia's sling, Hugo's powers, and the various companions you meet along the way, I try to survive in the brutal and unforgiving world of A Plague Tale. Despite the grim setting, The game is full of many heartfelt moments. A lot of this is due to the gut-wrenching writing that really hits home, along with the extremely talented voice acting. Overall, A Plague Tale Requiem is one of the most creative and gripping stealth experiences I've played in a while. Okay, it was really tough deciding how to order these next 3 games, but I needed to make a choice. Up next, it's the big one. Number 3, Elden Ring. Of course this is on the list. I need to admit, I've only played 30 hours of Elden Ring. That sounds like a lot, but it feels like I've only played 2% of the game, and I cannot wait to find the time to play more. And that is saying a lot from someone who has become burned out by nearly every open world game. Stepping into the beautiful and expansive world of the Lands Between for the first time still remains one of the most memorable moments of 2022. This game does not hold your hand. There is no marker pointing exactly where to go, which usually almost eliminates the point of an open world. And much love to From Software for pulling this off. I truly enjoyed exploring the sweeping landscapes, ancient ruins, treacherous dungeons, and unknown lands. This game has so much packed in, beautiful set pieces, challenging combat, memorable boss fights. It is nearly impossible to run out of things to do in Elden Ring. This is gonna sound like hyperbole, but it's more than just a game. This feels like a fully realized world. As of now, this game, along with Forza Horizon 5, are the 2 closest things we have to a metaverse that is actually fun. The gameplay is immersive and engaging, with a variety of weapons, abilities, and skills at your disposal. Admittedly, I am not the best at Souls-like combat, believe me, but I would be lying if I said I did not appreciate the complexity of nearly every fight. Although Elden Ring is not number 1, it is one of the most impressive and expansive games I have ever played. And up next is a cinematic experience that I cannot get out of my mind. Number 2, Immortality. I remember when people got banned from Twitch due to the boobies in this game. This is the newest addition to Sam Barlow's world of FMV titles, combining cinematic storytelling with interactive gameplay. As I progressed through Immortality, I found myself drawn into the unraveling mystery behind the disappearance of the actress Marissa Marcel by looking through the 3 unreleased films in her filmography. And once I figured out what was really going on, this became an addiction for about a week. Like, this game is more addicting than Ritz Bits. I ultimately discovered a narrative about the consumption and obsession of fictitious stories. I love how this game had a few nominations at the Game Awards, giving it some more exposure, but I can't recommend this enough. If you have a PC, an Xbox, or even a phone, I implore you to give Immortality a chance. And there's one more game I gotta talk about. Elden Ring already got brought up, so all that's left is that other big game. Number 1, God of War Ragnarok. It took me a while to finish this game, but I'm glad I did. God of War Ragnarok is a triple G game. A goddamn great game. And Kratos has a goddamn great beard. Don't get me wrong, this game is not perfect. I think there are way too many puzzles, and some of the chapters could have been a little bit shorter. But the bad is massively outweighed by nearly everything else about this game, and I expect it to be one of the most memorable titles for years to come. God of War Ragnarok continues and concludes Kratos and Atreus' journey into the world of Norse mythology. A few years after the previous game, Odin and Thor are pissed about the father and son killing a few gods, so it's time for these 2 heroes to go ham and kick ass. I truly do love the combat. Each weapon has a sense of complexity that makes all these fights feel elevating and refreshing. And players can take control of Atreus now, and surprisingly, spending time as the Boy of War did eventually grow on me. The places that his story arc led to caught me off guard. I love the direction Santa Monica Studios took with his character, though it's definitely not as badass as playing as the actual God of War. I really love that axe. Oh, and the cast of characters are so memorable, from Freya to Odin to Thor and his family. Though the 2 characters that really stood out are Brock and Sindri. Their storylines surprised the hell out of me, but just how surprisingly depressing things got with them. And by the end, I was thinking, damn, Cory Barlog really had the balls to go there with these dwarves. Though what is most memorable is Kratos' arc and his interactions with the various characters that stay with me long after putting down the controller. And let's not forget the great conclusion to the God of War saga, spanning multiple console generations, which brings Kratos' journey to a satisfying end. So if you're a fan of this franchise, or just gaming in general, God of War Ragnarok is a must play. So those are my favorite games of 2022. But actually, hold on. There's one more game I gotta talk about. Fine. F you, Susan.